Welcome to Good Morning Anambra, Tuesday edition. How are you? And now we're here. I'd like to formally welcome you to today's transmission. My name is Sijama. Do stand by now as we bring you the first program in our schedule this morning, Worcester Press Review. Welcome again. Joining me this morning for Newspaper Review, Nonso Adibe. Nonso Adibe is Anambra. Oh, sorry, that's not where we are. Okay, Phoebe Achinike, a public affairs analyst. Phoebe, you're welcome this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, I also have Barrister Chus Arukwe. He's also a public affairs analyst, apart from practicing law. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, these are the people that will look at what the papers are saying. First of all, let's see what is trending in our website this morning. From our website, we'll have cardiovascular challenges. Mrs. Soludo calls for regular health checks, dieting, and exercises. ANJET debunks allegation of cultism and diversion of government revenue. Erosion menace. Environmental scientist Mogalo calls for community participation and prevention and control. These and many more are the stories making the round from our website this morning, www.absradiotvorca.com. Okay, we have this challenge of cardiovascular diseases in the state, and it has been discovered that it has trickled down to young people too. And the governor's wife is advising us to almost maintain a good health check, dieting, and exercises. Barrister Chooks.
Yeah, well, it's a global thing now. The cardiovascular thing is global and national too. And Anambra is not the exception or the center point of it. The way to go is the suggestions by Her Excellency, exercises, regular medical checkups, and the rest of it. They help a lot in early detection of critical and preventable issues that may arise much later. So we endorse generally that our people should embark on regular exercise, workouts, and long trips on the foot. Instead of most of the time we are driving, most of the time we are engaging in rides where we can do a little bit of leg work to exercise the muscles that feed the heart and all the rest of it.
I see. Okay, Phoebe, there's this allegation that started trending, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, where some people are accusing the government of using cultism, cultists to generate or to, collect revenues from the people. And the government is saying that it's not true.
Well, the thing is, we're in an era where anybody can just cook up anything, post on social media, and before you know it, it starts trending. And it's very alarming how people believe such stories without even finding out how true they are. Somebody will just say something, ask man able marry 100 there. Before you know it, people start sharing, forwarding. And I keep saying, I said, how genuine is this thing? So the only authentic news we should learn to believe it's ones that originate from the people involved. Now, ANJET is saying it's not true. Let's believe them. It doesn't matter what other people are saying. Despite the fact I've heard several times they said in every rumor there's element of truth. But in this generation, I have seen that there doesn't have to be any element of truth. And people just have twisted information, and before you know it, you understand? So I think since the adject said it's not true, let's believe it's not true, irrespective of what is already circulating in the system.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at our environment. The rain is just setting in, and then everywhere is human beings are not living here. Get to the drainages, get to the street. You see, debris littered everywhere, and you keep wondering, are human beings living here? The other time I was somewhere and it was raining, I was watching people throwing out their garbages just on the road like that because the flood was going. And I said, what if this rain stops abruptly and then and this thing gets stuck here? Will you get back to pick them? Barrister Chuks, what do we do to have a good environment?
Well, it's a long-age thing, bad practice from our people, that they take the cheaper alternative, the disposal of waste, human waste, into these gutters and the water runways. It's been a practice, and an ugly one at that. One, because it endangers the human beings, the animal kingdom, the flora, the plants, and all the rest of it, and then causes the immediate blockages of waterways, that the water now travels and finds its own ways, leading to erosion, leading to uprootal of buildings, leading to catastrophic side events that propels other consequences. We have seen here in Anambra where people normally died at Aroma, at Unizik Junction, after the rain because of blockages and all the rest of it. The palliative there is just the big Iago flood channel. Otherwise, we'll still be with it. And not much has happened. And then public enlightenment hasn't done much to bring our people to sanity in terms of the other way around, the better way around. It's happening in Lagos, it's happening in almost all the capital cities. People prefer to sludge their waste immediately the water comes down in such a way that it's easier to do that, more convenient to them, and then hell is let loose and the waterways, the gutters are blocked. It's not his matter. It doesn't matter to anybody that the gutters are blocked. It's a government thing. They believe it's a government thing when the gutters are blocked. But when the gutters are blocked, it leads to flooding. It leads to all sorts of manner of things, and it comes back to us. Definitely, it comes back to us, and then, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the last time I was here, that was early this month. There was a case where the deputy governor was threatening and about indiscriminative disposals of dustbin. And I had this opinion to say, I was like, yes, can we put things in place, posts in place where people can trash their bins? Yeah. I live close to the market, Walimba side.
But we have buckets here and there.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. Now, there used to be a port where people trash their bin because people from the market generate a lot of waste. Now, they bring it to that point and dispose it. And all of a sudden, those things were removed. And no alternative was placed. I can tell you no alternative was there. And I'm like, the closest place they can trash their bin is moving from Ekoka, from Walimba to Gwebike Junction. That's a distance. Those barrow boys, they collect per bag 200 naira. I am telling you practical experience.
Really?
Yes, that's what they collect. If you pack your thing, you back per bag. And now you see somebody that has like maybe people that sell vegetables. They have like 3-4 bags. And I'm like, how much collecting a day? Oh, you do such amount to dispose their trash. So the thing is, if you want, I saw it coming. when most of these dustbins were removed without giving us alternative. And I said I said, "Nde mada manta dustbin ha." So if you don't want people, I'm not encouraging it, but if you don't want people to just throw their things everywhere, gutter and everywhere, can we put designated areas where, very close?
What about bagging your garbages, like the government have always said, bag it and keep it and it will be picked up?
From where?
I live in Onitsha. They come around
Good.
to pick it.
These things were in practice before this present governor. So Onitsha is a very developed, their Asmao is well developed, not like Oka. The only place this is in practice in Oka is Ekoka in the front of that 6th Avenue, where people tie up that thing and come. In my place, I have not seen it. It is not rampant here. Why? Because our Asma system is not that established here. Onitsha I don't know other place, but I'm sure of my elder sister, they always baggage their things and drop in front of their compound. Then in the morning or thereabouts, some people just come pick and go. We don't have such, I've not seen. So maybe where I live or where I've always lived, we've not had such a like that. We're already used to, there is a place where you tie it, you go and drop it there.
Okay.
Yeah, so government should look into that. No matter what does being harder.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on now. Let's move on now and look at what the papers are saying, really. Our first paper this morning is the Daily Sun newspaper. And the banner headline there says, Osmane Yara opens up on Tinubu Alpha Conde, then Guinea. With a writer there, throws light on president-elect link with Guinea. Okay, there's been this outcry that he has a dual nationality. That's what they're talking there. Okay, down here we have Tinubu returns after 34 days abroad. Tinubu returns after 34 days abroad. And then I think that's all we're taking from this paper. Let's now look at other papers. The New National Star is our next paper. Adamawa police probe Rexro in Gubapo, with a writer there, vow to unravel unwholesome conduct of Yunusa Ari, other collaborators. Air Peace pledges to free evacuation of Nigerians trapped in Sudan. That story is on top of the banner headline here. That's directly beneath the name template. Air Peace pledges free evacuation of Nigerians trapped in Sudan. 2 feared kill, 5 injured in Abuja ethnic clash. Who owns Papa's land? Is what is going on in this nation now. Detola acquires highest individual shares in Transcorp. Cause squashes Nigeria Air's hope of flying. I think we'll have that story in another paper, so we're going to find out exactly what's going on there. This day newspaper is our next paper this morning. Tinubu, disregard rumor about my health. I am refreshed, ready for tax ahead. With the writers there, Nigerians are glad to see you back and fit, says Banu. APC to suspend Amechi's ex-chief of staff, others over anti-party activity. Oh, I see. Okay. Is there any other story coming from here now? Okay, next paper is the Daily Independence. AON, others move to block AOC issuance to Nigerian Air. We still have to get it clearer in another paper. And then down here, forget rumor mill. I am strong, poised for the task ahead. This is coming from Tinubu. Okay, gentlemen, let's get back to where we started. And that's from the Daily Sun, where we'll have our story there talking about the Tinubu dual nationality, even as he returned yesterday. Barrister Chooks.
It's been trending, the fact that the law says having a dual nationality is a pre-disqualifying act. And it's something that will leave to the tribunals to look at whether that is sufficient enough to restrain him from becoming the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The law is specific, actually, and particularly more when you lie or swear under oath that you do not have a dual nationality. It becomes more topical. it is not the fact of that you have a dual nationality that is the problem. It is actually swearing on oath that leads to perjury. And perjury is a disqualifying fact. And we are going to look at how the tribunals, that is the appellate courts and the Supreme Court, are going to will look at it. For me, I think that the judiciary should rise up to the occasion and establish a new paradigm where we now see that those people who are not qualified academically, in other ways, are not allowed to rule Nigeria.
And that's where what I really wanted to ask you now, talking about perjury and a whole lot of things. Even before the election, we have seen so many problems coming from Tinubu's origin, certificate, everything, and now it is nationality again, and nothing has happened. He was allowed to contest the election, he was declared the president-elect, and is getting set to be sworn in May 29. Do you think, judging from the level of impunity and the judicial rascality in the nation, do you think anything will come out of this?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, you're a lawyer.
Well, the global searchlight is on us. They normally say in Nigeria, not as business as usual. It's not business as usual. Anybody who knows what's going on here now will know that the world is watching, and it is the judges and the justices who are on trial, not Tinubu per se. Because when you rule because you're motivated, because you have an interest, the society will judge you definitely. I do believe strongly that INEC as an established institution should have, because one, before you vie for the office of the president, you submit your documents. The job of a clearing authority like INEC is to have investigated. Because if you come for a job interview, the authorities receive your applications, receive your credentials. It is the job of the interviewing authority to authenticate such of those certificates which are genuine, and then pre-disqualify you before the interview or even before the exams. So Tinubu should not have been on that ticket, if truth be told, if INEC was responsive and responsible to its calling.
I love that.
Because that is where we should have started.
Responsive and responsible.
Yes. Because one, on the paper, you don't have a primary school certificate, you don't have this. There's a charge of forfeiture, there's a charge of narcotics dealing and all that. And those things are things that are on the paper. There's the issue of Chicago University, which one and who attended. There's a mismatch between your name, somewhere in the certificate you will have, or the transcript you will have Mrs. Bola Tinubu and all that. So who is actually this man that doesn't have a classmate?
Specific identity.
He doesn't have a classmate. From the origin, he never attended a primary school. The ones he attended, he had taken them back, that he was well home taught. Those things are needed to be tidied up before the election. And we'll have somebody who is globally seen as a narcotics dealer, whether in the past or in the present. A tainted individual who has records meshed in secrecy. We should know the health status of him. We should know everything about our president. It is the global practice.
It is. Because he's now a public figure. Yeah, he disappeared after the president-elect disappeared after the election and just reappeared yesterday.
The impunity at which they said go to court, they will say that with so much confidence. because they are the ones that decide what happens to the court. On a very good day, this is not the first time we had something like this. During Buhari's time, there was an issue of his certificate, NEPA bill submitted and everything. They went to the court. What happened? Last he has ruled us for 8 years. The heavens did not fall. So there's a system where the whole place is corrupt. Politicians detect what happens. As a matter of fact, they put in place who will favor their interests. And you see the person will do everything to protect the interests of who have sent him or her there. You understand? So they are in court, a lot of things to disqualify him, a lot of things he's not even supposed to be on the ticket, so many things. Yes, that's every average person. Like the barrister said, the world is watching. But Nigerians, they don't care. They don't care. You'll be there, they will just look for a way to twist the whole thing. And the normal Nigerian people, do you understand? We will not fight. We will not protest. Even if you try to protest, they use the security system to fight you. So nobody wants to die. Before you know it, they impose him on us. Okay, yes, on the other side, PO is challenging everything. Yes, if it's a country that has integrity as their watchword, this man, you shouldn't even be talking about swearing in. By now, you should have started hitting him hard. Ichran and Kai, he has a lot of issues that you can hit him on. There is no way he can escape all of them. But to me, I have given up. I was like, it's not like judiciary system. We go there and
it's not just judiciary. I think it's all the institutions.
No, this is the one now that
the problem started with INEC. If INEC had been responsive and responsible, just like the Duke said, we wouldn't be talking this. Okay, they would have done the things that they needed to do that will not lead us to what we are, where we are now. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on, gentlemen. Some Nigerians are trapped in Sudan based on what is going on there. And for a very long time, people are calling, why wouldn't our people go, remember, why wouldn't these Nigerians be rescued? And just now, one of our brothers said that he's going to do that, provided they bring them out in a safer place. That's Air Peace now. Okay, pledging free evacuation of Nigeria. But before now, a lot of nationalities have been evacuated, Chooks. Why is it when it comes to Nigeria, we'll go last?
Well, that is the normal thing in Nigeria, because we had a season of going from the less to the worse, where we elected a president who didn't have what it takes to be the president of a republic like ours. And this is the brunt of it. A nation is made up of strong institutions, not strong men. America is being ruled by a man who is in his who is in his 80s. Looking at Biden, for example, he's not strong, he's not young. But America is a very strong country because they are ruled by institutions. FBI doesn't wait for Biden to wake up. All the institutions in America, they don't wait for the president to call them. Everybody's on his toes doing his job, protecting America.
Based on your job description.
Protecting the nation state. We don't have a nation state. We have a country, a geographical entity. And it's the saddest part of it that we don't have a country, because everybody knows the definition of a country. It's a place fathered by a feeling, a democratic feeling, of this belongs to us. A feeling that one of us is one of all of us. That if a brother is trapped in Sudan or in any part of the world, that it's our job to run to him. Just like Americans who were kidnapped in Nigeria here. And the American forces took all the effort to organize a rescue mission. And they took their citizens out where the kidnappers were sleeping. In Nigeria here, all the way from thousands of miles to this place. Then Sudan is just at the back of this place. And all other nationals, the Britain, Canada, all that, they have taken their people away and still taking their people away. But ours, we are waiting for peace, to make a pledge, to make an offer.
This is where I missed Joshua.
And
Yehuda.
it's coming up, not late in the day, but it's coming up very sad that our people are not important. Some of our people are not important. And that institutions in Nigeria are nothing but to write home about. The case is INEC, the case is the police institution, the case is the military. It's all a plundered nation. It's a pity we are at this level of dangerency. Because if you see, read what Peter Obi had put up for his defense or for his petition, you see a country that is a sad one. Yeah. Because it's the same impunity that happened in Adamawa that happened in various parts of the country. It is the same impunity. Because there's no punishment, there is no requisals, there is nothing. It's about who did it. Okay, it is our people, and he did it for our own ethnic favor.
And they suppress it. And
just like the resident electoral commissioner is declared a missing, while we saw him entering a private chartered helicopter, leaving, and today he's not found.
But yesterday they said they have started his prosecution or investigation.
Investigation is not arrest.
And today again, they say police probe breakthrough in Guba Port.
INEC says they don't know his whereabouts. Police say they don't know his whereabouts.
Because so what are they probing now? Because that's what we have in the National Star, the new National Star, police probe breakthrough.
That is what they use to deflect our attention.
A country where nobody pays for their actions and inactions. Nobody is punished.
Everybody
is just free to do what they want because they know.
Buhari is waiting for 29th of May to leave the scene.
To hand over and go arrest.
And he has told you that his homeland is 7 miles away from Nigeria. That if you don't treat him well, he's going to evacuate to 7 miles away from here, Niger Republic.
Whatever he means by being treated well, is this something we're going to probe?
That people are going to be disturbing him for this or for that. He will just move over to his more kindred and all that stuff. So when you have a president of a country who can tell you that he owes his sentimental nationality to another country, not the country of his...
He ruled a nation like Nigeria, the largest nation in Africa.
He was thanking Nigerians.
As a foreigner.
He was thanking Nigerians for affording him the opportunity to come from the other side, to have ruled for 2 terms. Thanking Nigerians. The other side means the other side of Nigeria, which is Niger Republic.
Oh my God.
So those kind of things, you wake up with those kind of reality.
That's why
the other side of Nigeria, Niger Republic, have we annexed them? Are they part of Nigeria? They are a sovereign nation on their own.
And that is why we put a rail to their place. That is why we gave them exotic vehicles. That is why we are building a refinery. It's an alternative state of Nigeria.
Nigeria building a refinery in another nation. Why nobody's asking questions where you don't have one in your own nation, and nobody's asking questions.
Like I said, Nigeria, with our docile nature, we won't fight. Even if you come out so, what is it going to lead to? All the investigation they have made about people, what is the result?
Okay.
I'll take you on that. Nigeria is not docile. It's just that the coagulating forces are not there. One, ethnicity have divided us. We as Igbos now can decide on what is fair for us. Most Igbos voted for Peter Obi.
Apart from Igbos.
No. I'm just making some drawing up there. You see that what divides us is more than what unites us. There's nothing that unites us in the country.
Peter Obi united us this time around.
No, what I'm saying is that when it comes to the brass knuckles, when it comes to what is now good for us, you will now see the Yorubas. People have started singing a new song. The most important thing is good governance. The most important thing is food on the table. But it's not really like that. It's not about whether Tinubu is going to govern well. It's about whether he has the moral qualification.
To even start at the first time.
He has a lot of moral impediments. He does not have the goodwill of the
Even
people.
health-wise, he's not
Apart
even
from that,
medically fit.
look at the problem we are going to face in future, that if after all these things that we have been saying and doing, we allow a personality like that to govern Nigeria, so what do you expect in future?
And now you're seeing now there's already a controversy about his nationality. And you, like I said, let me still use that word. In our normal state, we all keep quiet. Sorry to say, I'm just saying it for the first time that Buhari is like referring to Niger as his home church. I thought it was from Katsina. Now, but probably a lot of people would have known, people in power would have known that this guy, Abronye Bang, Abronye Nigeria. But what happened? They put him, now another person has come. So,
anyway, there's this provision for nationalization or naturalization or whatever they call it, but whereby you can migrate from another country, and then once you have stayed a number of years in a particular country,
you become citizen by,
you become citizen. Yes. You can now participate in whatever they do. Are we right here, Chuks?
Yeah, natural. Well, it's not a problem. It's like tracing somebody's origin. He is living in his own adopted country. Just like the long stay. He has cousins, maternal lineages in Nigeria, in Katsina. That is not really an impediment. But what is an impediment is if your loyalty,
where your loyalty lies,
where your attention is divided. Does the fact that you have lineages in Niger Republic affect your governance schedules? So those are the issues.
Okay.
Has he a right to have
okayed? Said Obama, an African, becoming president in America, but what was his loyalty to his country?
He never spoke about Kenya.
Kenya
never benefited anything
until he stepped down.
Well, by definition of the American people, if you're born in America, you are a citizen. So Obama benefited from that. Okay. And there was a lot of searches, whether he was born in Hawaii, whether he was born out of territory of America. And it was discovered, really, that he was born within the geographical space of America. So that qualifies him. If Buhari, for example, was born in Nigeria, is by fact of that a Nigerian. But the fact is, if his people are in Niger, but he adopts his own Nigeria as his own, Nigeria becomes his own. But the fact, if he breaks away from what the law says, what the Constitution says, and pledges loyalty, or does things that are inimical to the survival of our country, that's where we should have just called him to order. The National Assembly should have called him to order. National Assembly should have questioned the reasonableness of building a rail track from Nigeria to Niger, giving exotic donations to Niger Republic, and doing a refinery where we don't have a functioning refinery in Nigeria. Those things should have been called to order and stopped by
the National Assembly
if they were responsive.
That's if majority of the people that are supposed to talk are not from that side.
You know, somebody was, there was an analysis I was listening on air one time. I was like, it's obvious that most of the National Assembly members don't even know what their primary functions are.
Or could it be they're also protecting their nationality too? Most of them perhaps may be coming from that side. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the last papers before we round up this morning. Nation newspaper, please. Nation newspaper will deliver on renewed hope agenda. Tinubu affirms, of course, all the papers are just talking about Tinubu. Yeah. I'm strong, very strong. Rousing welcome for president. President-elect. Okay. What do we have here again? How APC will zone Senate and then House top. I think we're going to look at that one. But let's finally look at other papers. The Guardian newspaper, International Day, Nigerians spend 2.04 trillion naira yearly on malaria prevention and treatment. Of course, today is the International Day of Malaria Prevention or whatever. Okay, and the other story is coming from Guardian newspaper still on. After 34 days, rest overseas, Tinubu affirms readiness for tax ahead. And here, war is over HND BSC bill as Buhari's exit near. This thing that started 8 years ago. Okay, I think that's all we have coming from the side of the divide. Okay, let's look at what's going to play out, what's going to happen in National Assembly as the, like I heard, I read somewhere that Tinubu will be meeting with some of the APC National Assembly members today to discuss on the who guess what.
Yes, you know that the APC has a slim majority when you combine their total with the total of the opposition put together. So it's not going to be business as usual because the opposition does not have the majority, but they have enough number to stop the APC from electing the principal officers. So that's why the whole thing is tricky. And the opposition is also galvanizing because you now have new sheriffs there, you have LP people, you have PDP, and the PDP and LP, the outlook are quite the same or closer than their counterpart of APC. So whoever gets what is not really what Nigerians should be bothered about. It's actually about if the fish is bad, it's from the head. Most people are really not bothered about the Senate because it has always been the Senate of Nigeria, lackluster. No miracle is going to come out from there. They're going to choose the man who's going to say yes, to Tinubu.
Yes, sir.
Just like Ahmed said when he came in.
Yes, they're going to choose a lucky. There's no miracle coming from there. The miracle will start where the tribunals end up telling Nigerians who won this election. People have been calling for televised sessions, like it's done in all the world, where the case is sensationalized. You view it, and the law is actually what is the impression of the ordinary man. That is what the law is actually. Will the ordinary man on the street, would the ordinary man would have levied such a judgment if it was the ordinary man who is trying this case? That is the ingredients of the law. That's why they use the jury system in some of these better crimes. The jury people are just ordinary people, picked, and they look at this case from a closet, watch the faces of the people who are testifying and the rest of it, and they come to the conclusion that this man is guilty. Then the law gives them the specific section of the acts they have offended and all that. So, but our own system here, they don't really think, the judiciary do not think really what the ordinary man on the street thinks. Has justice been served? Will justice be served? Because the judge...
Or seen to have been served.
Yes. The judges are expected to look out of the window and feel the pulse of the people.
The same judges are already having meetings with Tinubu in London. The same judges. You know, this is the only
the judges having meeting. I think it was the CJN that was accused of having.
It's all in smoke. It's all in smoke. Nobody knows what the truth is all about. The chief judge traveled out for one reason or the other, and eventually the meeting did not hold. If it was envisaged that he was going to meet Tinubu, he was caught hands in the pan. And they never met.
Started raising alarms.
There was alarms. Whatever it is, he can excuse or recuse himself, he's not bound to be in the panel, the final panel, because the panel is just 6.
Okay.
So
thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. I think we'll have to call it a day here because we have really taken a lot of time looking at these things, but it was worthwhile. Worthwhile. Yeah. Thank you for coming. Phoebe Achinike, Public Affairs Analyst, I thank you very much for coming this morning.
My pleasure.
Always radiating. And then Barrister Chus Arukwe.
Chris, actually.
Oh, it's Chris, not Chooks.
Yeah,
and I've been calling you Chooks. Because that's what I have here.
I wanted to let it go.
I'm sorry. That's what I have here.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, dear. Barrister Chris Arukwe, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Okay, that has been the press review this morning, the Tuesday morning, 25th day of the month of April 2023. God keeping us. By this time tomorrow, we'll be here doing the same business. My name is Sichama. God bless you.